What if I told you the Atlanta Falcons just sent a shockwave through the entire NELA, and hardly anyone noticed? While the scoreboard says, another close loss, the truth is much bigger. This wasn't a defeat. This was a warning shot. A message to the rest of the league that something terrifying is waking up in Atlanta. For years, Falcons fans have been waiting for that spark, that one moment where everything changes. And in Week 1, against Tampa Bay, that moment arrived. The headlines will tell you it was 23-20. But the real story? The Falcons quietly unveiled the most dangerous offensive weapon combo we've seen in decades. It started with Penix, cool, calm, and fearless under the lights. This wasn't a rookie rattled elite pressure. This was a young quarterback making history right in front of us. Nearly 300 yards through the air in his first game of the season. And here's the jaw-dropper, Penix has now thrown for over 200 yards in each of his first 4 career starts. Do you realize how rare that is? Only one other quarterback in Falcons history has ever done it, Mike Morosky, way back in the early 80s. That's 40 years ago. 40. And Penix just matched it in today's era. But the night's electricity didn't come from stats alone. It came from fire. That opening drive. Pure adrenaline. A busted coverage, a free play, and then magic. Bijan Robinson caught a short pass and turned it into a 50-yard sprint to the end zone. The kind of play where the stadium doesn't just cheer, it erupts. 71-0 fans inside Mercedes-Benz went absolutely nuclear, the sound shaking the building like an earthquake. Think about this, the Falcons hadn't scored a touchdown on their first drive of a season since 2012. 13 years ago, when Matt Ryan was throwing to Julio Jones. And now here we are, a new quarterback, a new era, and the energy feels different. It feels like the beginning of something. This wasn't luck. This wasn't a fluke. This was the first glimpse of an offense built to terrify defenses every single week. And the rest of them better pay attention. So, let me ask you, Falcons fans, does this feel like the start of something special? Do you believe Penix and Bijan Robinson are about to rewrite Atlanta's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know if you feel the same electricity that shook the stadium in Week 1. Do you remember that infamous Grady Jarrett play against Tom Brady? The one that still makes every Falcons fan sick to their stomach. That moment wasn't just a bad call, it was theft. And in Week 1 against Tampa Bay, it happened all over again. Late in the game, when everything was on the line, Falcons rookie Rook Orhoro made what should have been clean, game-changing play. He barely touched Baker Mayfield, barely breathed on him, and the refs threw roughing the passer flag so ridiculous that even the commentators on knee didn't know what to say. Mayfield flopped like a fish, and the officials swallowed it whole. And here's the part that proves this wasn't just a mistake. The refs huddled up, they had time to talk it over, to pick that flag back up, and they didn't. They doubled down. That single call marched Tampa Bay straight into the red zone, and seconds later, they scored the game-winning touchdown. Vu. History repeating itself. Another dagger stuck in Atlanta's back. Now think about this, last year, the Falcons went through an entire season and only got 3 roughing the passer penalties in their favor. 3. Yet in one single drive against Tampa, Penix got lit up twice with no call, while our guy gets flagged for brushing against Mayfield. That's not just unfair. That's a pattern. That's the tilting the field against us. But here's where it gets even crazier. While the refs and narratives tried to steal this game, something unstoppable still broke through. Bijan Robinson. This man just reminded the entire NELA why he was drafted so high. Against Tampa, Bijan put up 124 total yards from scrimmage, which now gives him 11 career games with over 100 yards since 2023. That's more than Saquon Barkley, yes, Saquon freaking Barkley, in that same stretch. He's not just living up to the hype. He's setting a new standard. And that 50-yard touchdown. Pure nightmare fuel for defensive coordinators. Bijan hit 11 oras 29 minuto miles per hour, according to next-gen stats. That's not fast. That's track star fast. That's don't blink or he's gone fast. Even Tampa's head coach Todd Bowles admitted after the game, they've got two hellified backs that are going to wreak havoc on this league. That wasn't coach speak. That was fear disguised as respect. The now knows what's coming, and they're not ready for it. And don't think the defense is being left out of this story. On the other side of the ball, the Falcons came out swinging, forcing back-to-back 3-and-outs to start the game. When was the last time that happened? Week 16 of last season against the Giants. This is a defense growing teeth, hungry, and ready to back up an offense that can score from anywhere on the field. The refs may have stolen a win. The media may not be telling the truth. But the message from Week Isa is crystal clear: the Falcons are building something terrifying. And the rest of the league just felt it. Think about this for a second. The last time Atlanta's defense opened season forcing back-to-back 3-and-outs was way back in 2015 against the Eagles. And do you remember what happened that night? The Falcons won. That's not just a coincidence. That's history whispering to us. And speaking of history, how about Billy Bowman? In his very first NA game, this rookie etched his name into the record books, becoming just the isa-0 Falcons rookie ever to record sack in his debut. That's not luck. That's destiny. You could see it in the way he flew off the line, the way he attacked with zero hesitation. This is a kid who's not waiting his turn, he's taking it. The defense as whole gave us flashes of pure dominance. And remember, this is still a young secondary, raw talent that's only going to get sharper and more dangerous as the season goes on. It's the kind of unit that can grow into something terrifying, the type of defense that wins championships. And now, Week 2. The Falcons are walking into Minnesota for their first primetime matchup of the 2025 season. Sunday Night Football. National stage. Entire country watching. 8:20 was kickoff. The lights will be blinding. The cameras will catch everything. And that's exactly where legends are born. Michael Penix AR is stepping onto that stage with a chance to announce himself to the entire NA. Not just Atlanta. Not just the NA South. The whole world. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. Minnesota will be coming off short week, fresh from Monday Night Football against the Bears. One less day of preparation. Meanwhile, Atlanta comes in angry, focused, and hungry. And here's the part that gave me chills. After that gut-wrenching Week Isa loss, Raheem Morris didn't sound broken. He didn't sound shaken. He looked right into the cameras and said, "We were that close today. I don't think anything is causing panic. I think our guys will go find a way to win next week." That's not empty coach speak. That's confidence. That's a man who knows exactly what he's building, and it's something special. Even the players are buying into that mindset. Arnold Ebiketie said the defense wanted to set the tone from the very first play. Kyle Pitts praised his quarterback for laying his body on the line for his teammates. This isn't a team crumbling under pressure. This is a team bonding through adversity. And you know what seals it? Even Baker Mayfield, the guy who just walked away with the win, couldn't stop himself from praising Penix after the game. He told him flat out, "You're going to be a problem in this league for a long time. When your opponent says that after beating you, you know you've got something real. And if you still think this Falcons team is struggling, let me throw some numbers at you." Bijan Robinson didn't just look explosive, he led all players in the game with 6 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Pitts, 7 catches for 59 yards. The chemistry between Pitts and Penix is already cooking. And defensively, Atlanta held one of the most dangerous offenses in the league to just 167 passing yards. That's not a fluke. That's dominance waiting to break out. Week 2 isn't just another game. It's a chance for the Falcons to show the nation that what happened in Week Isa wasn't a disappointment, it was a warning shot. And this time, under the lights, Atlanta is ready to turn potential into reality. Let's be real here, Baker Mayfield didn't beat the Falcons, the refs did. He completed just 17 of 32 passes. That's barely over 50%. The Buccaneers weren't moving the ball with skill or dominance. The only reason they scored late was because of that bogus penalty that extended their final drive. Without it, Atlanta walks out of Week Isa with a win. Period. And the record books will show another season-opening loss. Since 2018, the Falcons are just 1-7 in openers. But here's the part that too many people forget, that one win came in 2023 against the Carolina Panthers, and that game lit the spark for one of the best seasons Atlanta has had in years. History doesn't always repeat itself, but when it rhymes, you better pay attention. I've got this feeling deep down that week 2 is going to be the turning point. The moment where everything clicks. The offense? It's already showing flashes of being unstoppable. Michael Penix are slinging darts all over the field, Bijan Robinson exploding like firecracker every time he touches the ball. The defense? Young, hungry, aggressive, the type of unit that smells blood and gets stronger every single snap. And let me leave you with something powerful, Falcons Nation, this team isn't rebuilding. That word doesn't even belong in the same sentence with what's happening in Atlanta. No, this team is reloading. Reloading with speed, with fire, with talent that's ready to take over their South. The media can keep ignoring us. Opposing fans can keep laughing. The refs can keep throwing shady flags that tilt the field. But none of it matters, because you cannot stop what's being built right now in Atlanta. Not for long. Next week, under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football in Minnesota, the entire football world is going to see it with their own eyes. They're going to see Penix's arm talent. They're going to see Robinson's versatility. They're going to see defense that doesn't just bend, it bites back. And when that happens, there will be no more questions. No more doubt. No more sleeping on the Atlanta Falcons. This isn't just a season. This is a revolution. Falcons Nation, rise up. The takeover starts now.